you go. Podium's right there.
Oh, right here.
All right. In this case, docket 2021076270, a petition was filed by Shelley Rothy against you, named as the defendant in her petition, making some allegations. I don't know if you've seen a copy of it or not.
I actually didn't get the subpoena, but I actually had to come up because I was informed about it, so I had to come up and appeal it because the person who dropped the subpoena showed up when I left for work and then he never came back. But I do have the document saying that about the court case.
Well, what I'm talking about is there's a petition that's filed
Yeah.
and brought before the court, ex parte, which means without a hearing,
Okay.
and the other person wasn't present. And the law allows that to be done.
Yeah.
And making allegations specifically in the petition. That you started trespassing and stealing property. Stealing went on for months, admitted to July 4th that he was stealing to Mike Mordick. Also have two eyewitnesses.
I admitted.
I'm just saying this is what's on the petition.
I'm sorry.
And that was supposed to have occurred on March 19th, July 4th, this year. You approached her husband in a very angry and aggressive nature, saying he would stole all my property, will continue to do so. He threatened to come out at night and shoot and kill the cat colony we were caring for. Jeremy was not, anyway, made these allegations. I don't know if you've seen this or not.
Yes.
You got a copy of this?
Actually, I just have. Hold on, wait for that. The only one I got was the appeal. And I'm not sure where's it at.
You mean request for a hearing?
Oh, where is it at?
It would be an appeal because you have the right to have a hearing first.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for today.
I never received that entirely because, like I said, it was supposed to be in the subpoena, right?
No, it's just like a summons notice of a hearing. This case is one where you came to court and asked for a hearing.
Oh, I'm not
We don't
sure
show
where.
you ever received a copy of the hearing.
Somewhere in here, I got a lot of paperwork here. I'm not sure where to put it.
All right. Mr. Owen, is it?
Yeah.
Mr. Owen, we have a question. The question here is it doesn't show, we don't have anything in the record to show that you have received a copy of today's notice of today's hearing. Served on you? Or...
Oh my goodness, it's not even... I think it's outside and with my mom. So I think she might have it.
Would you go get it for us, please? Well, he's had to initiate a request for a hearing to keep the defendant. It was issued ex parte.
Hold on.
Order.
What's this?
And then he would have had to request a hearing. In fact, what it shows in here,
Yeah, here we go. I found it. I'm sorry.
it shows that his hearing request was submitted on the 9th of December, and being accused of things that I never did, want to defend myself from someone who has anger issues. So that was submitted, and yet we don't show that he actually got a copy of the notice of today's hearing. That's the issue? In our records? Normally that's the issue, they come in and ask for a hearing. So I don't know.
He didn't get, he's a defendant?
He's a defendant.
So you're on.
So this is a petition
Yeah.
that was filed. This isn't a notice to you. This is a petition that was filed.
Yeah, I never received anything then.
So you served with a copy of the paperwork?
No, he had,
Did you ever get served with a copy of the order of injunction
No,
against Rasmussen?
I said earlier that the guy who went to drop it off never actually came back. I actually, because there's a deadline for me to actually appeal or whatnot, I had to go do it. So I never received it initially.
Okay, when did you receive it then?
What day was it?
the next day. I don't remember the day.
Okay, we don't have an affidavit on that yet submitted by, that's the petition they filed to get their order.
Yeah, what was it?
That's not anything that there would be a copy served with you to show the petition and
No, I
the
don't
injunction
have it.
order. So, step back to the podium. In any event, apparently, you have your process server's affidavit that he served paperwork on?
My understanding, Your Honor, is that the process server was supposed to submit the affidavit with this court directly.
Well, we have one showing that it wasn't done, is what I thought. Didn't get him apparently the first time. I don't know. He said there was a second time, or he may have come. Do you have the affidavit showing that service was done?
We do not, Your Honor. It was our understanding that the process server was going to submit it with the court directly, so we do not have that. If Jeremy would like to accept service today, I think that would be acceptable, but...
Well, has to be served or acceptance of service, one or the other.
Right.
It has to be in the file code to proceed with the hearing. The order's in place, it stays in place until we do have the hearing. So my clerk will explain to him his options, and that is that he either will wait until we set this to another date until there's proof that he's been served, or he accepts service.
Like what type of service you mean? Like the community injunction?
Let me explain. The procedure is, if somebody comes in ex
Yeah.
parte, let me explain it all before you respond, okay, or ask a question. They can file it ex parte. That means without the other person being there. And if it's issued by the judge has two options. One, to set it to a hearing without issuing it.
Yep.
The other one is to issue it, and then the other person has to get served. And then they have the option to come in and say, I want to have a hearing on this, I oppose it, I object to it, or whatever. The hearing schedule. You're here today, there's a hearing set, but we don't have anything to show you received service. So we have to either get an affidavit to show the service was accomplished, or you have to agree to waive service and accept service on your own today. Proceed.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's put off to another day.
We could probably do it today.
Pardon me?
We can do it
So
today.
you want to waive service?
Yeah.
Is there a waiver form we have to accept service or whatever?
Wait service, or do you want acceptance?
Acceptance, yeah.
I have acceptance of service.
Okay, then you have you present that. Someone, my clerk has a form for you to look at here. You want to accept service, and you'll sign that, and then we'll put that in the record to show that you're here requesting a hearing and you accepted service.
Okay.
Okay. Procedural thing. Come on over here to where this shield is here.
Will you give me a copy of the petition, a copy of the injunction against harassment?
Okay.
The time is 7:42 a.m. at the Mason Municipal Court, courtroom 202. I just need you to sign and date. The date is December 20th.
Okay. Now we've received the acceptance of service, so you're here at a time now scheduled, and you want to proceed at this time because you requested a hearing, correct?
Yes.
Have a seat over that table over there. And you are?
My name is Ravinder Arora. I'm an attorney for...
Where's the petitioner?
I apologize. That's her seated right
He needs to come up to the seat up here with you. Now, before we proceed, counsel,
Yes, Your Honor.
I don't show the lease as having been received. Your notice of appearance?
My paralegal should have sent it in on Friday, if that's not correct.
Sent it in on Friday?
Yes, electronically, but I'm happy to fill one out by hand if that.
We may have a form here that you'll have to maybe sign.
I'm happy to do that.
And on the record, I know that I recognize this name. Miss Rothy was here previously in involving another party, not the same gentleman. Is that correct?
Yes.
And so we had that hearing, and so I have that background of having heard this hearing.
And Your Honor, just so the court is aware, the party who has the order of protection against Ms. Rocky is in the court, and I apologize, I said order of protection, it's an injunction against harassment. However, it does order no contact, so I just want the court to be aware of it.
Contact in the courtroom is a different thing than outside the courtroom and setting in the neighborhood or wherever else it may be. So I appreciate you pointing that out, but I just wanted everybody to know that I'm somewhat familiar with a different circumstance at the same location involving Ms. Rothy and someone else. So in those circumstances, if everybody's comfortable with me still hearing this case today, it's a total different case, another individual, another set of facts, so we can proceed that way if you wish to do so.
Yes, please, Your Honor, thank you.
Okay. All right, you ready to proceed now? Then we've got your acceptance of service in this matter, is that correct?
Yep.
Mr. Owen? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I'm going to swear in both of the parties. Raise your right hands, please, to be sworn. No, your party? You're the attorney.
Sorry, Your Honor.
I hope you're not going to be testifying for your client anyway. Each of you raise your right hand and swear. Do you swear from the testimony you give to the court today will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now, we have witnesses who will be testifying today.
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
For the state, or for the plaintiff.
Yes, Your Honor.
Who are they?
We have 3 witnesses, Your Honor.
Please come forward if you're going to be a witness in this case. And stand behind the podium over here, side by side if you would. And I'll need your names from my left to right. Your name, sir?
Daniel Covington.
Michael Mordick.
William Mattis.
Okay. Each of you raise your right hands, be sworn, please. Each of you swear or affirm the testimony you give this court in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Okay. Now, I'm going to exclude you from the courtroom because I don't want you to be impacted by whatever is testified by either of these parties. But I want you to have your testimony only not influenced by anybody of the other witnesses or any other parties to this case. So I'm going to have you stay outside the courtroom. There's benches out there. I think you can find benches. Just have a seat out there. Don't discuss your testimony amongst each other, either before you testify or after you testify. So you don't have any question about discussing the case between yourselves. I want your testimony only today, and no discussions outside the courtroom, please. Okay? You all step out there. We'll call you when it's your turn to testify. Anybody who's testifying for you?
My mom.
Please come forward. You need to be sworn also, ma'am. To the podium, please. Your name?
Connie Wingo.
Okay, raise your right hand. Do you swear from the testimony you give this court this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm going to exclude you from the courtroom as well because I don't want you to be influenced by the testimony of either Mr. Owen or Ms. Rothby. Okay?
Thank
And don't
you.
discuss your testimony with anybody else.
Thank you,
Okay?
Your Honor.
Thank you. Now, they can talk with you individually as counsel, but not together. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Now, you may begin with your witnesses first, or the plaintiff in this matter, petitioner plaintiff in this matter. How do you want to do it?
Certainly, Your Honor. I thought the burden was on Mr. Owen.
No.
Okay.
No. The way the procedure is that because it was issued ex parte, and the other person wasn't here,
Understood.
then they're coming and saying, "Hey, I want to be heard." It's as if we're starting at the beginning. The burden is on the petitioner to present the evidence that may have been presented at court before the judge ex parte. Same thing, and plus the witnesses this time maybe that weren't there that day, I don't know. But in any event, it proceeds that way. So you give the testimony, he can ask cross-examination questions, and then you can give reply to that if you need to do that with each of your witnesses.
Thank you. Then I'll start with Ms. Rothie.
Okay. Ms. Rothie, would you come on? You want her up here or you want her there?
However
Right
works
there?
first.
Okay.
That's fine.
We have the microphones, that little flap thing on the thing, they don't need to lean forward. That's what picks up everything. But just make sure with these masks on that you speak clear enough so that it doesn't come across as not quite clear enough in the record. So anyway, you can proceed then. She is sworn, so you may proceed, counsel.
Thank you. Ms. Rothie, can you please explain briefly to the court why you decided to get an injunction against harassment?
I've been trying to get it for quite a few months now on Jeremy Owen. I couldn't get his name. He has basically been very aggressive in our neighborhood. He has been stealing my property on lot 139. He has been aggressive with me, coming out, confronting me about the cats that I've been caring for. And he approached me with his pistol on his side. He didn't take it off or anything, but it still was intimidating, very intimidating to me that he was approaching me and pretty much telling me something I could not do on property I had permission to do. I've lived in this community for 10 years, and his energy about him is just very intimidating. He'll stand out at his mailbox, he'll watch me come and go. They have cameras on their home, even though I know that is okay, but he watches me come and go from my home. And honestly, I don't know, this boy is unpredictable to me.
Okay. Let me pause you there, okay? Because I'm going to fill in some of these details. Where do you live?
I live in Holiday Village, lot 139, Broadway.
Is that at 701 South Dobson Road?
Yes,
Okay. And what lot number are you at?
147,
Okay. And what lot number is Mr. Owen at?
140.
Okay. And how far are your two lots from one another?
Well,
Approximately.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really bad with measurement,
that's
but he's like across the street, kitty corner. So he's on a corner. I'd say he's maybe 500 feet. I don't know if that's a good
That's fine.
guess or not.
Okay. And now you mentioned that there's another lot that you've been caring for, is that correct?
Yes, lot 139.
Okay. And whose lot is that?
Jeff?
Okay. Is he another resident at this complex?
Yes, Jeff and his mother own that trailer. They're snowbirds. They live in Canada. And since COVID hit, they have not been able to come back from Canada. And he has asked me to take care of his property while he's gone.
And did he give you written permission to take care of the property?
Yes.
And were there cats that were living on the property?
Yes,
And were you going to the property and feeding the cats?
I was, yes.
And did you have his permission to do so?
Yes, I did.
All right. And when you would go there, would you take your own bowls and food to feed the cats?
Yes.
Okay. And what started happening to those bowls and to that food?
They started, first it started with the food being dumped into the water. Then the food started disappearing. Then the water bowls, food bowls started disappearing. And I just kept replacing them. And then the linens, the towels that I had under a table for their safety and warmth disappeared. The cat tower disappeared. And, you know, it just started, when it started disappearing, this was back in March, I believe, is when it started happening. I'd go over and I'd find all the bowls gone.
And these were all things that you had purchased, correct?
Yes,
And they were on Jeff's property, which you had permission to take care of?
yes.
And who took the items as far as you know?
Jeremy Owen.
And why do you believe Jeremy took those items?
Because he told my husband he did. He told Michael that he was taking all the property because he didn't want me feeding cats.
And you mentioned that he has cameras pointed at your property, is that correct?
Yes,
How many cameras are pointed at your property to your knowledge?
2.
And has he mentioned that he watches you coming and going from your property?
Yes. He actually had says in video that he watches me all the time.
And has he also threatened to harm the cats that you were caring for?
Yes, he has.
And do you know what has happened to those cats?
They're gone, every one of them gone.
How many were there originally?
5,
And did they all just disappear at once, or what happened?
one by one.
And what do you believe happened to them?
I believe that they've been relocated out to the desert, and I believe that they're no longer alive.
And did you ever see Mr. Owen put out cat traps?
I never saw him put them out, but the traps were out.
And where were they?
They were on the side of the carport, and then they were in the back in a position, they were hidden, so I couldn't see them from the street. And I ended up seeing it, of course, but I have photos of that as well.
And the community that you live in, does it have an age limit?
Yes, it's a 55-plus community.
And so, to your knowledge, is Mr. Owen over 55?
No.
How is he able to be there as far as you know?
I don't think he's supposed to be in there. I don't. And of course, it's park, management. They can't reveal that information. He's in there, and that's all I know.
And does the park have rules regarding firearms?
Yes, you cannot show a firearm. You cannot have it exposed in the community.
Are you allowed to carry a firearm from your home to your vehicle?
No. I mean, you can carry it, but it has to be covered.
Okay.
You can't.
Okay, are you allowed to open carry with it?
No, you cannot open carry.
Does Jeremy regularly confront you when you see him outside of your property?
Outside of my property? No.
Or outside of his property? Or actually, sorry, outside of when you've gone over to Jeff's property to take care of it?
He has confronted me once outside of Jeff's property. Mostly it's just watching me. He'll stare at me. He won't say anything to me.
And does he typically have his gun on him when he's standing there watching you?
He had it exposed at one time, and I have seen the bulge with it covered, which is fine. But the one time he approached me is when it was exposed.
Okay. No further questions.
Okay. Any questions you have?
No?
Okay. Next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would like to call Michael Mordick.
Counsel, you get, thank you. She'll get support, thank you. Please come forward, sir, to the gate and to the front of the courtroom here. And that rail there, come over to this chair up there and have a seat there if you would, please. And watch the step up, the ramp is kind of a little angled, so be careful the way up, not severely, but sometimes people could trip on it, so just have a seat.
You might want to walk up.
And give us your name again for the record.
Michael Mordick.
Say, have a seat, sir. Mr. Mordick.
Your Honor, is it okay
You
if I
wanna-
sit
you wanna-
here just because he's hard of hearing a little bit?
Okay, you're welcome to come up there and use the podium.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. I just have a few questions for you. Was your wife taking care of another property in the same community that you live in?
Yes.
Okay, and what property was
Counsel,
that?
before we go forward, we have some hearing things that might enhance his hearing, make it easier. I'll have one of the interpreters come in with that and make sure it works, and then it might be easier for him to hear.
We could certainly
Give
do
you
that.
just a few minutes, get that in here?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna get some,
Would you like a hearing advice?
I can actually hear
You
him.
can hear him okay?
I'm just saying to be clear, so there's no issue about hearing everything or not. I get the interpreter to bring those things in that you can hear better. They enhance your hearing is all. You want me to get that for you?
You can try it.
All right, thank you.
Okay,
Just give me 2 minutes.
absolutely, Your Honor. Thank you.
Dan? No, Mark is the one who's That was Mark. I don't know.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be here, it's hot as it is, but it.
Okay.
Yeah, you can hear, but. Uh-oh. None of these are being charged.
Your Honor, I'm happy to come stand up next to the witness stand too, if that makes it easier.
You what?
I'm happy to stand next to the witness stand if that makes it easier.
Well, hopefully it's close enough that you get picked up too. That's the thing. Let her just try this right now and see.
Okay.
All right. This is the volume right here. Channel 1 usually works, sometimes channel 2. Can you hear me now?
Can you hear better?
Can you hear?
Can you hear better, okay?
Let's have a go at it.
Okay, we'll have a go at it.
Can you hear?
I can
me,
hear.
sir?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just
Thank
kind
you.
of weird.
Okay.
As long as you can get clear enough, you understand the words that you're getting.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me clearly?
Can you hear anybody? Can you hear what we're saying?
Yeah?
Okay.
How about me? Can you hear me clearly?
Not that you're turning it
Still
down.
not coming in?
Yes, really. We can try it. I don't want to waste any time or anything.
No, if you can't hear it, then let's try a different channel. How about now? Can you hear that better now?
Is it coming
About
through
like
now?
it was.
Is it coming through the headphones when I speak through the microphone?
Yeah, he's still kind of muffly over there. I was almost better cupping my ear, I think.
All right, then.
How about now?
Same.
Now?
Can
How
you
about
hear me
now?
Hello?
Nothing louder.
Nothing louder?
No.
No. Okay. Well, I'll just make sure I speak up. Will that work? I don't think that's helping.
Let me do this.
Yeah, I think that
That's
might work
better.
better.
Let's just put it back then.
Okay.
Please,
Leave it there.
okay, thank you.
I'll get it in.
Sorry.
Okay, not a
That would be
problem.
better than that. Go ahead.
That's all right. Okay, and Mr. Mordick, is this your wife Shelley seated over here?
Yes.
Okay. And was she taking care of some cats at another property in your community?
Yes.
Okay. And did she have permission from the owner of that property to take care of those cats on the property?
Yes.
Okay. Did she take her own food, water bowls, and food bowls over to the property?
Yes.
Did she also take her own blankets, towels, and cat tree over to the property?
Yes.
And what happened to those things?
They disappeared.
Okay. And what do you know who took them?
I do. It was Mr. Owen.
Okay. And how do you know that Mr. Owen took them?
He admitted it to me.
Okay. And did he say why he took them?
I believe it was because of him being tired of the cats, because the cats were getting on the roof and causing a disturbance in the middle of the night. And he wanted the cats out of there.
And was he aggressive or threatening with you at that time?
He, to me, was very angry, agitated. His body language kind of indicated that to me. His voice was quite loud.
Did he have a weapon with him at the time?
Not that I saw in that moment.
Okay. Have you seen him at other times walking around the complex with a weapon?
Yes.
Okay. And does he have cameras pointed from his property at your property?
Not directly, but within the wide angle.
Okay. And has he mentioned to you watching you or your wife?
Yes.
Okay. And to your knowledge, did he harm the cats that your wife was caring for on the other property?
To my knowledge,
Yes.
it would be a presumed thing. I can't actually state yes to that because I did not actually witness that.
Are the cats still there?
No.
No further questions, sir.
Any questions?
Nope.
None?
No, Your
Okay.
Honor.
All right, you may step down, sir. Thank you.
Thank
We've been
you.
outside the courtroom in case you have to be called on again before we conclude this case. Next witness.
Your Honor, I'd like to call Daniel Covington to stand.
Okay, counsel, you bring him in. Thank you. Come forward, sir, through the gate. Pull it and come up here to the front of the courtroom. There's a rail over there. Walk by that, behind that, and then there's a chair up here. I want to have a seat there, if you would, please. Thank you. Your name again for the record?
Daniel Covington.
Thank you. Please have a seat.
Your Honor, I have a blood sugar monitor.
Uh-huh.
Unfortunately, I can't turn the alarm off if it goes off.
Okay, well, I don't want you to have any problem with
That would
either
suck.
having that to give you a warning and give you the injection or whatever you may need at this time, so.
I got candy in my pocket.
Okay. Proceed, counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor. All right. Daniel, can you please tell us how you know Miss Rothy?
She's been my neighbor for 10 years.
Okay. And how do you know Mr. Owen here?
He's been our neighbor for a year and a half or so.
And have you had any problems with Mr. Owen at the community?
I have not necessarily had any direct problems with Mr. Owen. I have witnessed him with a gun on more than one occasion.
How would he display the gun?
I didn't ask him about it, Your Honor.
No, I mean, how was he how did you know?
It was on his hip.
Okay, so it was upholstered on his hip, but he
Yeah.
it was on his person then?
Yes, on his person.
Thank you.
What was your next question? I'm sorry.
Well, that's okay.
I'm old.
Does he, to your knowledge, has he acted in a threatening or aggressive manner towards anybody else in the community?
That's actually why I'm here. Yes, I believe so. I have one person in our park. I think it's more because of my age than anything. I'm kind of the go-to guy for all the older people. When they have a problem, they come to me. I generally deal with the office for them if I'm able to. I have one neighbor that says when she tried to discuss something with him, he got aggressive towards her. But understand, I did not witness this stuff personally. I do know that we have a yard person that he won't come into our neighborhood and do work anymore because he had some sort of a confrontation with the young man at question. And I do know of one other person that had a run-in with him, but in my opinion, that person was somewhere where he shouldn't have been in the first place. So I just don't think that situation is worth mentioning. I'm not sure the young man was wrong.
And do you know if the park has a policy regarding firearms?
Yeah, you are not allowed to have a firearm on your person or out of a locked container unless you are walking to and from your car. And then it is to be locked, either put in your glove box or locked in your home. Whichever direction you're going is my understanding of the policy of our park.
And are you aware of Mr. Owen constantly watching or surveilling other people in the park?
Well, they have a lot of cameras, so I think they pretty much watch everybody around the park. You can't walk by their trailer without setting a camera off. I only walk around the corner. I don't know what they have in the back or, on the back side of the trailer.
Let me ask you this question. You say all over the park. What's the distance from one end to the other of the park?
Of our park?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I guess I don't understand what you're asking. What?
You said that they watch everybody in the park.
Well, no,
coming by their home?
They watch everybody that comes by their home.
Okay.
Yes, I'm sorry. Thank
you.
One camera, I would have a hard time believing that the one camera is not right in Shelley's bedroom or living room windows. It points right at them. But I only walk around the front. I walk my dog every day, several times a day. I don't notice it much during the day, of course, because it's light out. But at night, you can't walk by without the cameras going off. I don't know if they're the type of cameras that follow. I don't know enough about them or honestly care. But yeah, I mean, I know that my wife she didn't witness something. She heard something one day. She would not begin to say exactly what it was. She gave an opinion to the park that she thought she heard a gunshot, but she would not testify to that. And when I spoke to the young man's mother, she did tell me that they knew it was my wife that had said something because they saw her on the camera. And that was 3 o'clock in the morning. So I assume they record. I guess I wouldn't think they're up all night, but it's a crazy world we live in.
Understood. And are you familiar with the fact that Ms. Rothy was taking care of another property?
Yes.
Okay. And whose property was that?
I think his name's Kevin, but don't hold me to that.
Do you know where it is?
Yeah, I live in lot 135. The trailer that Tracy was Shelley, was helping to take care of is 139, and the young man lives in 140.
And are you familiar with what occurred regarding her caring for the cats?
Yes, I do know. I mean, I have tried my level best to stay out of the fray for the whole thing, but from what I understand is Shelley had permission from the owner of the trailer to feed the stray cats that lived under and around his trailer. I never saw Shelley go on any other lots. I only saw her walk. She would feed them almost every night when I would be walking my dog. Generally, she would walk onto the property and she would walk right along the side of the trailer. So she was on the lot she was supposed to be on. I know that there was some confrontation over the cats. I know that they were getting under Jeremy's and his mom's trailer. So there was some hard feelings. And it seems to have escalated rather quickly.
And do you have any knowledge of what happened to Ms. Rothy's food bowls and water dishes and other things that were on lot 139?
I don't know directly what happened to them. All I know is what people have told me, and that's that this young man here took them and got rid of them. It's also rumored that he was trapping stray cats. And if that's true, in my opinion, that was wrong. I think that as a park, all of us, as a park that have been there for a lot of years, we have, not necessarily taken the time to completely care for these stray cats, but there were some of them who would come in our house if we would open the door for them. So it's been my opinion since the beginning that if he trapped them, at the very least, these residents have a right to know what happened to them. If they're someplace safe, just tell us where they are. We'll go check on them. We'll all be happy. If you took them to the desert, well, I know Mesa law, and he broke the law, and he should be charged with it.
Thank you. No further questions. I appreciate it.
Any questions?
No.
What Mesa law do you know?
I'm sorry.
What Mesa law do you know?
I've seen it, looked it up. There is a law in the books in Mesa that you are not allowed to trap and remove cats from the property, stray cats from the property they live on. You are allowed to trap them and have them fixed, but they are supposed to be returned to the same property that you took them off
In
of.
other words, you're saying the cats have priority.
I'm not saying that at all, Your Honor.
I'm just responding. We don't need to talk over each other. You're saying that the law provides so the cats, the stray cats, not owned by anybody in the park, so somehow they've come into the park and somebody is feeding them, so of course they'll go where they can eat and drink water and so forth. And if they get on anybody's property who does not want them on their property, they have to let them on their property.
I don't agree with that either.
Okay.
I think that, and him and I have talked before about it, I am indifferent to that part of the situation that's going on. All I am saying is that there is an ordinance, and if he trapped them and he took them somewhere, instead of all this confrontation over, I don't have to tell you anything, and the police told me I could do what I wanted, instead of that confrontation, if he took them somewhere and they're supposedly safe, like people have been told, why not just tell them where they are? If you killed them, then he did break the law. And our park has pretty strict rules about committing a crime on park property. If you do that, you are subject to eviction.
I think that that's pretty much a law on every property. You can't commit crime.
Well, I get that, but at this point, Your Honor, and I'm saying if, okay, because I don't know for sure, but if Mr. Owens is a felon, and if Mr. Owens had a gun in his possession, which we know that he did, we have video of him with the gun, multiple people have seen him with it. If that's the case, that when all of this stuff started taking off and all of this confrontation, then why can't we get the park to help with any resolution in this? That's the whole reason I'm here today.
I understand your.
So if
There's always going to be issues with management.
Well, I get that.
Management has responsibility and the tenants have responsibility.
But you understand that as tenants right now, I know there's only 3 of us here today, but as tenants right now, and as you know, you've been dealing with this a lot more than we have, as far as in the court. We're not getting, at this point as tenants, we feel our only recourse is to come see you. We should be able to go to the office and say, okay, if Mr. Owens is a felon and you have video of him with a gun, why is he even still in the park? Why do we have neighbors that won't walk by here because they feel intimidated by him? Why do we have a yard man that won't work? Because he's had a confrontation with him.
I understand that. One thing you said something about that you have him on video.
She has a video of him with a gun
So she has
on his
a
hip.
camera that takes video.
No, she had her phone in her hand when they had a confrontation.
Okay. All right. Anything else, the witness?
Nothing
You
further.
may step down.
Thanks.
Thank
Inside
you.
the court, we'll call you back in case you need you in follow-up for rebuttal or anything, okay? Next witness.
William Albert Mathis, your counsel. Thank you.
He went to the restroom. He'll be right back.
Okay.
Oh, he's taking a break?
He just went to the restroom.
All right, why don't we take just a 5-minute break and then make sure he comes in and show him where to sit, and I'll be right back and we can continue at that point in time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
These people.
He took a break too.
Oh, all right.
Right, I know. Yeah, there's another hearing right after this one. I think it's at 9:30 or 8:30.
Are you guys here for the 9:30 hearing?
8:30.
8:30?
Is this room 202?
Yeah.
Oh, 8:30.
I think he did say there were two.
Oh, 8:30, okay, yeah. We're still finishing the previous one, the judge will probably ask you to wait out in the hall. Okay, we're just gonna, like, 2 minutes over here and then we're done.
Yeah. Maybe I should ask for the clerk to have to get it up. Okay, I'll let you talk a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, we're back on the record, and this witness's name is,
William Mattis.
and you also live at the park?
Right.
Okay. May proceed, counsel.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mattis.
Hello.
Morning, sorry, a little ahead of myself here. How do you know Miss Roth?
She's my next door neighbor.
Okay, and how do you know Mr. Owen here?
I don't actually. I know he lives with his mother across the street.
Okay. And have you seen him act in a harassing way towards Miss Roth?
No.
Now, let me ask that as a better question, I think. Have you seen him walking around the park with a gun?
Yes.
And is that a violation of park policy as far as you know?
I believe so.
Okay. And have you seen him be aggressive or threatening with anyone at the park?
Well, I don't know what you mean by aggressive. When he first moved in, he'd stand there with a gun on his hip, and as I'd drive by, he'd leer at me as I went by. And I mean, it made me nervous, you know.
Sure. Okay. And are you aware that Miss Rothy was taking care of one of the neighboring properties?
Yes.
Okay. And do you know which property it was?
Yes.
Which one?
It's directly across the street from me, the one right next door to.
Okay. And was she taking care of some cats at that property?
Yes.
Did she have permission to be there and take care of the cats?
Yes.
Did she take her own food bowls and water bowls over there for the cats?
Yes.
And did those go missing?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know who took them?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And how do you know?
I saw him do it.
Okay. And who took them?
Guy right here.
And did you see what he did with the property that he took?
No, I was standing in my other neighbor's driveway talking to him, and I seen him run over to the property where she takes care of the cats, grab the bowls, and then run back out of sight. So I don't know where he went with them.
Got it. Okay. I don't think I have any further questions for you.
Any questions?
You say I had a gun when I first moved in, and I was carrying it outside, right?
Right.
What month was that? Just curious.
What month?
Yes, what month was this that I would stand outside and stare at you with my gun on my side? What month was that?
I don't know, just after you moved in.
Just answer the question, sir, if you can.
March, maybe? March?
Okay.
This year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay. Any questions, follow for you, counsel?
No, thank you.
All right, you may sit down, sir. Remain outside the courtroom in case you call back in and rebuttal. You have plenty for us?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. It's your turn to present your testimony now in response to what you've heard presented by the petitioner in this matter, the plaintiff petitioner.
Okay.
They'll have the opportunity to counsel to cross-examine you after you've given your testimony.
Yep.
Then if they have any rebuttal to what you present, then they can call the witnesses back in or have her testify as well. Okay. So we proceed then. Your name for the record first.
My name is Jeremy Owen.
Where do you reside?
701 South Dobson, Lot 140.
This is in this.
In the same trailer park as Shelley Ralphie.
Okay. All right. Now you've had a copy of the petition.
Yes.
Seeing what the allegations are that were set forth in the petition.
Yep.
And now's your opportunity to be heard, since, as has been explained many times, the way we got here is that, in accordance with Arizona law, every individual who feels that they're entitled to seek from the court an order of either injunction against harassment or order of protection can come to court ex parte, without a formal hearing be set up, and fill out a petition and make a request and be seen by a judge. The judge can do one of two things, three things. One, he can say, no, there's no grounds for it here, and just dismiss it. Or two, or deny it. Or two, they can set it for a hearing, say, I want to have everybody here. Or three, they can say, yeah, there's grounds here and I grant it. The judge who saw her, on the occasion she came in, her being the plaintiff in this matter, Judge Umpleby, granted it with terms. And so you were then to be served with a copy of this. We didn't get anything to show that you had accepted it or received service, so you did accept service today. So we're proceeding today on this hearing that you requested. So you understand where we are now. You've heard the testimony of all the witnesses, including the petitioner plaintiff. So it's your turn now to respond. Okay.
So I want to start off saying, as far as the property to lot 139 where she was feeding the cats, she didn't actually officially have permission from the owner. She got permission from William, which he got permission from the owner that lives in Canada to take care of her property just so he can park his car in her carport. She never got permission. Even the management even said that she's not allowed, because it even says in the contract that you're not supposed to be on someone else's property without permission. We actually got a hold of the owner of the trailer, and she even said that she had no idea that she was feeding cats on the property. We actually got eviction notices. Both of us got warning eviction notices about the issue, saying that she cannot be feeding the cats anymore because it's actually you can't feed feral cats in the trailer park. My complaint was they were damaging property. We even have another neighbor where the feral cats was damaging the skirting as well as ours, and then they would get underneath and then they would use it as their personal cat litter box, and then the smell would come up and we'd have to smell it. I admit I approached Mike first because Shelley wasn't available. She was actually in the hospital for having alcohol withdrawals, and I did approach him because he was on the property over there starting to feed the cats, and I tried to reason with him first. wasn't aggressive. I wasn't hostile. I didn't have my gun on my side at that time. I did with her, but that's because I got back from the shooting range. And well, he's not here right now because he's at work, but I have someone that can verify that I was at the shooting range that day, and I just got back. As far as the gun, I also have eviction notice, a warning eviction notice from that, resolving it, as well as a flash drive with a video recording, not video, but an audio recording from the manager saying that the issue with the gun was resolved. Okay, because at the time, I will admit, I didn't know, because I wasn't there when the lease was signed. I was at work, so I didn't read the contract. So yes, I did violate it, and I owned up to that mistake, which I ultimately do not have the gun anymore, Your Honor. I actually ended up selling it a couple weeks after the incident with Shelly and I. So I don't have that in my possession anymore.
That it?
Let me see, what else? As far as William saying that that I approached him in March with the gun, that I'm gonna have to say is a lie, because I can prove on my account that I purchased the gun in June. So it's not possible. So whatever month he was saying, it's not true.
Okay.
Let me see. What else?
Stealing?
Stealing, yes. As far as the stealing, I never stole anything. Okay, as far as me admitting that I stole any items or killed any cats, that is a blatant lie. I want to see the evidence on this one. I've never admitted anything. Never. I actually don't have any proof that I'd never threat, but at the same time, neither does she. I think that's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
Want to call your witness in?
Yes.
Okay. Want to go get her?
Yeah.
And Your Honor, we'll have an opportunity to ask him some questions as well.
Excuse me. Yeah. Before you bring her in, I was going to have you do it one after the other, but go ahead and have a seat. He has the right to cross-examine you now on your testimony, like you had with each of the witnesses and with her. And so I'm going to let him ask those questions at this point in time. And then we don't do flash drives, by the way.
No?
No, the reason we don't, because we don't know what may be on there, and it could screw up our system. We put something in the system, so we don't have the facilities to take flash drives.
Do it by the phone?
We do the well, if you can play it on your phone,
okay.
You can play that.
I have them on my phone.
Okay, that's up to you then to play on the phone. We won't do anything with our own equipment because it could put some kind of virus or whatever else into our system, and then we're having a problem. So we have the little discs that you can put in, and they're different. They just play off of a laptop.
Okay. Let me see. Hopefully I have them on this phone because I put everything.
Okay. And if you can find them, I'll have you come here so I can list up here, and you can come and counsel this as well.
Thank you.
All right, this is the one with the gun being resolved from the office.
Come on up here. I have a recorder right here, and I want you to play it so we can hear both here and council's here as well.
Yes, may I speak to Heather?
Can I ask who's calling?
This is Connie.
Okay, hold on a second.
Hi, Heather. So what's going on with this paper that you give me?
So this is something that we have sent both parties right now. You both have received this because this is our way of saying everybody needs to stop. We need to just stop it all together. They received a similar notice, so at this point, we want both of you guys to stop communicating with each other, both of you guys to stop egging each other on, so we're just going to put an end to it by saying you guys both need to stop. So you did not get this notice alone, they also got it.
Yeah, I know, I seen it on the security camera.
Yeah, And I do also ask that you discontinue the use of that trap.
Okay, but it's not in the contract, and that,
Actually, it is in there on your 1430. We have asked you to discontinue use of that trap.
okay, well, we have stopped using the cat trap.
Okay, it's not another cat trap, I'm sorry.
You know, we haven't used it within a week.
Okay, and like I said, we gave this to both parties, so everybody's done.
So we don't have to move then?
No, you don't have to move. We're not kicking you out. We're just saying please stop on both sides, or we will have to take corrective action.
Well, okay, well, we like I said before, we're not following them, other than, you know, like I said, she did ask when she got served yesterday, the officer came down and gave me a message from her, and well, she wanted to know if I would give up for where we were taking the cats at, and I said, well, we haven't took any cats anywhere because we haven't caught none. So I
No,
said,
and that's fine. So that's the only thing that I have to say is that, you know, we gave this to both parties, so that way we are showing that, you know, we're on nobody's side here. We just want this to come to an end.
right, well, that's what I want. That's what I want. I want it to come to an end. I want her to leave us alone and stuff. I haven't really followed her.
And she has agreed to do that. If you agree to do that, then hey, we're all good.
Oh, I agree to it also. But she tried to apologize, you know, yesterday to the officer. So, but they were, you know, she was served a restraining order for the injunction of harassment. I'm just waiting for the police report, and that's going to take 4 to 6 months before I can get a copy of it because they're backlogged.
Yeah, no worries. So if we're all on the same page here, then there's nothing to worry about. That was just a document on our end, so that way we make it clear that, you know, we're done with this.
Okay, well, we're going to get rid of the cat trap completely. It's not here at all. And stuff, and anybody can search the property if they want to. In and out.
The only people that are allowed on your property are me and my team, so you can, of course, have your private property, so that's not a problem.
Well, yeah, and I told you before, I have nothing to hide. You're more than welcome to come up here and check anything you want.
I was just earlier. I do know. I was just at your door, so you're fine. Everything is good.
Okay, thank you, Heather.
No problem. You have a great day, honey.
You too, and have a great weekend.
You too. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You thought there was one with the...
I thought that was the one for the, no! Sorry. I don't know why that file was in there, I apologize. Let me see if I can look for the unresolved one.
All right. I'll give you a couple minutes to look and see if you can find something else.
I don't have them on this one.
All right.
Dang it.
Cross-examination.
Can you please state your full name?
My full name?
Please.
Jeremy Owen.
Do you have a middle name?
Why? Is that mandatory?
I'm just asking if you have a middle name or not.
Yes, I do.
Okay, and what is your middle name?
Do I have to give it?
You have to identify yourself.
Okay, it's Lewis.
And what's your date of birth?
9286.
And Mr. Owen, you have a felony conviction, don't you?
No, I do not.
So you don't have a conviction for drug paraphernalia and a narcotic drug violation in clause number CR 2013-443-552-001.
That's a misdemeanor.
Maricopa County.
That's a misdemeanor.
Actually, according to the court records, it does not look like it has been reduced to a misdemeanor.
It should have been reduced.
The last document entry indicates that it remained undesignated. And so your testimony here today, though, is that you do not have a felony conviction, is that correct?
I should not have it. They said it was after I was charged with it, they said it was dropped down to a misdemeanor.
Did you ever file the motion to reduce it to a misdemeanor?
No.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Anything else? Okay. Call your witness in now, please. Please come forward, ma'am. To the gate, pull it, and up here to the stand up here, this chair up here around that railing. The floor around the railing there's a little slanted, so be careful of that. Just have a seat. Give us your name again for the record.
Connie Wingo,
And your relationship to the defendant in this matter?
mother.
Okay. You may go ahead with your questions. She doesn't just give testimony. You have to ask questions of her.
Okay. Did you ever see me or me get hostile with Shelley Ralphie?
No, I did not.
Okay. Did you ever hear me say that I would threaten to kill any cats or
No.
harm anyone else?
No, I did not.
Okay. Let me see here. Let me see here. Actually, let me see here. I think that's all I have, honestly. I don't really have many.
Do you know him to have owned a weapon, a gun?
Yes,
Okay. When you moved in to this location where you're now living in this park, did he move in with you?
yes, he's on my leash.
Okay. And at that time, did he have a weapon?
Yes,
Okay. Does he have a weapon today?
no,
How do you know?
because he sold the gun.
Did you see him sell to somebody, come by and pick it up, or how do you know?
Yes, they came by and picked it up.
Okay. All right, counsel. That's just what I want to clear up, because he brought up that he had sold it. I wanted to see if she had any information on it. Thank you.
And Ms. Wingo, your son has previous felony conviction, doesn't he?
That I don't know.
The community that you live in has an age limit, doesn't it?
Yes,
And isn't that 55 and older?
yes,
And how is your son able to live in the community?
because he is my caretaker.
And does he have certification or anything along?
No, because he's family, they don't have to.
And do you have cameras on the outside of your unit?
Yes, I do.
How many?
I have 10.
And why do you need 10 cameras on the outside?
That goes all the way around my trailer because of the harassment in my case.
And do you have a camera that's pointing at Ms. Rothie's unit?
No, it's actually pointing at my driveway, but it spans out, and there's no way I can control that.
So there's no way that you can angle the camera down so it's not
We have.
directly at her?
We have.
And no further questions, Your Honor.
Anything else you have of her after the questions were asked?
Let me see here. I didn't think it was illegal to have cameras pointed. So I don't have a question. Well, can I question her?
No.
Oh.
No,
No, I don't have any.
You've had that opportunity. You say you've had 10 cameras put up?
Yes, sir.
They're still up?
Yes, sir.
How long is the unit you live in?
She's for about, okay, across the street. She lives across the street, down a
Are
way.
these mobile homes?
Yes.
And so the length of the mobile home you live in is how long?
That I don't know without looking at my
How many
contract.
bedrooms are there?
2 bedrooms, 2 baths.
2 bedroom, 2 bath, kitchen?
Yes, front room, dining room,
Okay.
and a little hallway, you know, where my wash machine is.
And you know how deep it is, how long and how deep it is?
Not without looking at my contract.
Okay. Are you just renting a unit that was already there, or you bring your own in?
I didn't hear the question.
Did you rent a unit that was already in there for rent, or did you bring your own unit to put it in there? Did you buy this property?
Yes, I bought the trailer.
And so you don't know the length or the size?
Not without looking at my
the square
contract.
footage of it even?
Not without looking at my contract, because I didn't keep up with that.
Okay. How many do you have on the front? How many do you have on the back?
I have 2 on the front, 2 in the back, and then the rest are on both sides.
So that's 2 and 2, that's 4, so there's 6 more?
Yeah,
3 on each end?
I believe so, yes.
Are there not enough coverage from just one camera on each location?
No, because of the kind of camera that my son bought from Walmart. So, but as far as the security cameras, I talked to the management, and she said she didn't have a problem with the security cameras. We can have them. She knows exactly how they're pointed, and she doesn't have a problem with it.
Okay. What was the cause of your decision to put up cameras on the outside of your...
Mrs. Rossi posted on social media a target, and it stated, when I visualized Connie and her son, it felt good. And I called the police on it, and that was on my case that was going on.
So, you
So
made the decision, or somebody suggested you, or how did
No,
you...
I made that decision to keep myself and my son safe.
So you were doing this to watch other properties, or to watch people
No.
coming on your property?
No, just to watch my property around my area, to make sure, because people has came up, you know,
How far
out there.
apart are each of these units?
They're probably about so far apart, they're pretty
No,
close.
I'm talking about, let's talk about the properties where the mobile homes are. How far apart are they,
They're
roughly?
about 20 feet apart or something like that. They're not that far apart.
And the street that goes by in front of them, how wide is that street?
2 cars can go by each other.
All right, thank you. Any questions you have, counsel?
Just one minute. You in fact had those cameras up on the property well before the incident that you reported to police, didn't you?
When it all first started, we went out and got the security cameras. So it's been like almost 7 months this has been going on.
That was well before you got the police report that got the injunction against Ms. Rothie, correct?
No.
When did you get that?
I think I got them a month after.
You got the cameras after you got the report?
Yes.
Okay, so if there were photos of your place showing that it had cameras on it before that, then what would you have to say about that?
Nothing.
Okay.
Anything else?
Nothing else, sir.
All right, you step down, thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else to present?
Besides all the harassment evidence that I have to present that Shelley's been doing to me as well.
Realize that what we're here for is her order.
Yeah.
if you have an order or you're petitioning in order to get an order against her, then that's a separate issue.
Yeah.
We're only addressing the petition she filed against you and the order that was issued on that petition, ex parte.
Okay.
We're not here to have you present evidence for you to get an order today or as a defense to this, other than what you've testified about in your own testimony and your witness. Okay?
All right.
Any other exhibits you
Nope.
have or
Nope.
anything? Okay.
Nope.
Any exhibits you have, counsel?
Nothing here.
All right. Anything else you had to present?
No, I would like to make a closing argument.
Okay.
Also.
Arguments? You want to stand up here? It's closer and I can hear you better, and even these masks on that kind of muffle us.
Absolutely. Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, the judge who issued the previous order issued it based on exactly the things that were testified to in the court today, that Mr. Owen was unlawfully taking Ms. Rothy's property on a repeated basis from the neighbor's house who she had permission to care for. He tried to indicate that she did not have permission to care for the property. However, you heard from two other residents, as well as her husband, that all indicated that she had permission to care for the property. And regardless, it was her property that was sitting there. He had to trespass onto the neighbor's property in order to steal her property from the neighbor's property, all of which was part of the basis for this. He also admitted that he was walking around the park with a gun on his hip. We do believe that he's also a prohibited possessor. The online docket information does not suggest that his felony charge was ever reduced. And if that's the case, then his admissions today would be an admission to a felony charge. He also... They also admitted that they have 10 cameras on their property, which is at most a double-wide trailer, might be approximately 30 by 60 feet if it was one of the larger units. 10 cameras is absolutely excessive, and Your Honor, under the Arizona harassment statute, subsection A4 specifically says that it is an act of harassment to unlawfully surveil someone. They admitted that they not only have the cameras, but that they watch them all the time, that they view everything that appears to be going on around them, and that the cameras appear to be pointed at Ms. Rothy's property. One of her neighbors also indicated that he's seen the cameras on the outside of their house, and that it appears that one of them is pointed almost directly into their bedroom window. With all of these factors combined, there's definitely basis for the injunction against harassment, and again, these were the exact bases that the injunction was issued in the first place. So unless Mr. Owen has a way to disprove what's been claimed in here, then the order should stand the way that it was issued. And we don't believe that he's carried his burden to disprove it. I believe the weight of the evidence shows that Ms. Rothy told the truth when she requested her order, and therefore it should stand.
Thank you, counsel. Arguments. Final arguments of reviewing all the evidence been presented by the plaintiff and by you and witnesses. As to, you're here contesting the order, they're here to sustain the order. So you've heard the argument they're making that there's evidence from the witnesses here sufficient for the order to stay in place. You're here saying it should be dismissed. You need to have your final argument stated to the court based upon what's been presented to the court today to all the witnesses and the two parties.
Okay. I just want to say that as far as all these accusations, as far as me stealing and threatening, actually I made no such thing. I actually would love to see any type of evidence brought forward besides witnesses that has been her friends for years. I want to see the video evidence of me stealing, any type of audio recordings of me. All these accusations, just false. I've done no such thing. I'm done.
Thank you. Reply.
Your Honor, I would just note that this is not a criminal case. The burden we need to meet is, I believe, preponderance of the evidence, and I believe we have established that in this case between the testimony of Ms. Rothy and her witnesses. They were all consistent with one another. There were some inconsistencies within Mr. Owen's testimony, and regardless, witness testimony is more than enough for this court to sustain the order as it stands.
Now, this is, of course, a quasi-civil proceeding. It's not criminal. The burden of proof in criminal cases is to show when the evidence and present evidence sufficient to meet the burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt. This is by a preponderance of the evidence. It's like weighing on a balanced scale. Slightest tipping of the scale is sufficient to carry the burden of proof. I've listened to the evidence presented by the parties, by their witnesses, giving weight and credibility thereto. The court finds the burden of proof has been met. I'm going to keep it in place. I'm not going to make an amendment to it. I'm not going to take anything away from it or add anything to it. The only thing this says is no contact and 45 feet. That's all it is. That's a short distance, and it's a park that's very much less than the normal neighborhood. It's not homes, they're mobile homes, and so it's a lot closer together and so forth. I'm presuming that by being in his residence with his mother as a caretaker, it's not going to be a violation if there's less than 45 feet between that home and the next home where there may be the residence of the petitioner plaintiff in this matter. If that's the case, then council needs to advise me now, and I'll have to make an adjustment to that before we...
That's why that distance was set in the first place.
Okay.
Was to have the...
I'll advise you, Mr. Owen, you do have the right to appeal the decision of the court today. One final time, that would be from this court to the Superior Court, a higher court.
Okay.
My clerk, would you get a copy of the order that remains in effect? We'll give you a sheet of paper that explains that to you and the process you need to follow to do that, time period and so forth. You can consider that. It doesn't have to be done today, unless you want to do it today, immediately, but you can take that into consideration and then decide whether you want to proceed to do that.
Okay.
And follow the directions you get then. Okay?
Okay.
So you take your things you have in the courtroom with you. You with him, ma'am? Would you get his mother to come in, and I'll have all of you go into this room here together, so you get his copy, and then you can leave from there and have to come back in here. And they'll have the plaintiff get her copy with counsel. So step inside. You want to wait till the mother comes in, and you can all go in there together. This door right over here is where it is. There's chairs inside there. There's a window. My clerk will call you to the window as soon as it's ready. You want to wait there until so she knows where to go as well. She there? She's coming? Okay. Everybody with Mr. Owen could go with him in there. Take your things with you in here. He's going to get his copy of the order. Pull the gate, and go, those are going with him.
You're going to follow him through that way?
Thank you.
There it is, right there. There.
Thank you, John.
Okay.